Hello, this is State Representative Robert Martwick, and today is Thursday, March 1st, and I'm coming to you with a weekly update about what went on here in Springfield, Illinois. And we had a busy week. Yesterday was my birthday. I had my father down here, and I presented him with a resolution honoring his 50 years of service to government and politics in the community, so it was a nice day for me. But that was my personal stuff. In addition, we had a lot of votes on, the topic of the day is guns. And, okay, so obviously, right, once again, a couple of shooting tragedies have come up. And so now we are spurred into action. And it's been frustrating for me being in the legislature. It seems that gun issues only get acted upon when we're spurred to action because of some sort of tragedy. But it was an opportunity for us to pass some bills. So there were a number of bills proposed. There are some that still need to be addressed. But let's talk about the four things that we passed yesterday. So yesterday the House took up four bills on guns. All four of them passed, which was pretty interesting because it's not easy to pass gun bills in Illinois. But the first one is the Gun Dealer Licensing Act. And what this is going to do now is going to make gun dealers, like every other business in Illinois, obtain a state license and be subject to state regulation. So if you think about it, if you go and get a manicure or a pedicure, or you get your hair done, or there's so many state businesses that require licensing, almost all of them, right? Gun dealers were exempted for some reason. So we created the Gun Dealer Licensing Act. Well, what does it do? Well, obviously it requires gun dealers to obtain that license. It prohibits them from being located within 500 feet of a school or a daycare center. It requires them to have video surveillance in the store. And there creates a gun dealer licensing board to recommend policies, right? Their licenses are good for 5 years. We capped the renewal fees at $1,000, and we were giving them a couple of years up until 2021, January 1st, 2021, to get their video surveillance up. So this is a good step. This is something that Moms Demand Action, which is a big gun control community. It's really moms. It's a bunch of moms that got together to try and get some common sense gun reforms done. This was their big push, was gun dealer licensing, because this allows us now to have some sort of authority and oversight over a couple of bad actors who might be, we don't know, but I guess we'll find out, right? There's a lot of allegations that a lot of the illegal guns that make their way to Chicago are being purchased out of a couple of stores, and so now we're going to have the oversight over those stores. So we'll see how that works out. But that's a good bill. Number two, bump stocks. Okay, so this just became famous in the shooting tragedy in Las Vegas, and a bill was proposed in the fall that failed. And it was good that it failed. It wasn't good that we didn't ban bump stocks at the time, but the bill was not perhaps written well. Okay, it brought in a lot of things that were not necessary to the bill. But now we did a simple and clean bump stock ban. So there's two items to this: bump stocks and trigger cranks, which allow you to turn what would be otherwise a single shot rifle into an automatic. It simulates an automatic, and that's what the shooter in Las Vegas used. So straight up prohibition, bump stocks and trigger cranks or Gatling triggers are now banned. So another good bill, and that went through pretty easily. Number three, minimum age for the purchase and or possession of assault weapons. Okay, so we hear much about the AR-15. There was no minimum age, so anyone of any age could own one or possess one. We've now set that age at 21 years old, and I think this is a good bill. Actually, I believe it was 18. You had to be 18 to have an assault weapon. Now you have to be 21. And again, I think a lot of people would like to see an assault weapon ban, but like all things, we take incremental progress. So this is a good first step. Finally, number four, a waiting period. So in a quirk of Illinois law, if you went to purchase a handgun, you had to wait 72 hours after the purchase before you could actually take possession of the gun. But for rifles, including the AR-15, you only had to wait 24 hours. So we have now fixed the law to require the same 72-hour waiting period for a rifle as you have to have for a handgun. So all four of these bills passed. I think they're all really sensible reforms, right? Have some oversight over the people that are selling the guns to make sure that they're not doing anything wrong. Bump stocks, who needs these? Well, I mean, the federal government banned automatic weapons. So adding a device that basically turns a semi-automatic weapon into an automatic weapon, there's no place for that and there's no need for it. Those are gone. Minimum age on assault weapons, again, it's a compromise. It doesn't get rid of assault weapons, but it makes it hard for these young kids who might not be thinking clearly to get them. And finally, making the waiting period for rifles the same as the waiting period for handguns. All common sense. They all make sense. So I think those are good bills. I voted for all of them. Happy to have done that. So what's left? Well, we have a couple other bills left that I hope that we will take up in the very near future. One is the lethal order of protection, and this would authorize courts to issue not just an order of protection, what they call a lethal violence order of protection, and this would be prohibit a person from having a firearm during the duration of the order. And so it's an interesting bill. I hope to hear that one. Having been a domestic violence prosecutor, I know the importance of this. The vast majority of murders occur in these domestic situations. That's what happens, right? So getting guns out of the home when there is a problem in the home, I think is a very good step. The other thing, I would like to see get voted on is mental health reporting, so we can make sure that we are, all of these mass school shooters seem to have a very similar problem with mental health. So if we can do more in the way of reporting, that would be really good. The last one is specific to the incident that happened with Commander Paul Bauer, which was really a tragedy and something that I really mourned for him and his family. I think he was a true hero, and it was unfortunate. But we want to ban the types of armor-piercing bullets, and we want to ban body armor, so that private citizens cannot obtain and wear body armor. That is something that we're looking at, and I hope that those votes come up in the next few weeks. But we did get some good stuff done, and I'm really happy to hear about that. So that's it. This was kind of the week was guns this week. We did vote on a managed care update that I think will help our hospitals, and we had some other, we have other things going on here in the Capitol, but this week was really about guns, and so I'm happy to report that there were 4 good measures taken. So that's it for this week. We'll be back in session next week, and I look forward to catching up with you more then. As always, if you have comments, questions, or concerns, please feel free to make a comment here on this Facebook page, or you can email me, repmartwick@gmail.com. You can call me at my office, 773-286-1115. I always look forward to a conversation about our state's problems and how we can do better. If you've got good ideas, I'm happy to listen. So thank you very much, and until next time, we'll see you then.